Representative McMakin moves to call from the calendar House Bill 756 on today's notice given list.
Without objection.
House Bill 756 by Representative McMakin provides relative to state capitol complex use allocation of space within the capitol complex. Mr. Speaker and members, on behalf of the Bureau, Representative Horton sends up technical amendments.
Without objection. Rep. McMakin on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Madam Clerk, members. This is an update to revised statute 49-150.1, State Capitol Complex, allocation of space, maintenance, law enforcement officer, firefighter memorial, Gold Star Families Monument, and the African American Military Service Members Monument. This bill has not been updated almost since I've been alive. And in that time, our state government has built several state buildings around this city for our state officials. I think you all have experienced it, whether you're a third termer, second termer, and I know as a first termer, that having no space in this building is cramping our style and making us inefficient and less effective for the people that elected us to be here for them. Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment to take up at this time.
Madam Clerk. Rep. McMakin, does the insurance commissioner have an office in the building?
Well, Mr. Speaker, you brought it up. We can talk about it. The insurance commissioner, who's been sitting here many nights, working with us, working for us, has a building right outside that window called the Poydras Building. It's 110,000 square feet that he has, right there through that window. And not one time has he complained about not having a floor in this building. Not one time has he asked to be in this bill.
Okay, that's good. I just want to know if you had an office in the building.
We'll take up that amendment.
Madam Clerk.
Representative McMakin offers up set number 3727.
Rep. McMakin on your amendment.
What we're doing on this amendment, members, Representative Polly Thomas made an amendment in committee. We originally were combining Secretary of State and the Attorney General. Rep. Thomas had an amendment that said we're going to leave the Secretary of State with one floor, and she would like to keep the rest of the bill the same. So, Vinny, I'm codifying this for you, Vinny, that the Secretary of State's floor is on the 20th floor. She'll stay there. And the Attorney General's floors are going to be the 22nd floor and the 25th floor. So the Attorney General will still have two floors. And then also amendment number 3 in this set clarifies when this law would go into effect. I'd ask for your favorable passage.
Any questions on the amendment? Any objections to the adoption of the amendment? Rep. Emerson for a question on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a quick question. So is the 25th floor unlocked?
I've been to it. You can have access to it. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I know we can have access to it, but don't you literally have to get on the tower elevator and stick the key in and to go up there? For
And one of the concerns we heard from the Attorney General's office was the security of her rooms. Nothing is more secure than having to use a key to get to that floor.
Thank you for answering the question.
Rep. Bacala, you have a question on the amendment? He waives. Any objections to the adoption of the amendment? Hearing no objections, the amendment is adopted. Next amendment, Madam Clerk.
Next set of amendments are offered by Representative Amity, set number 3524.
Rep. Amity on your amendment.
Thank you for your amendment. No, thank you. Should be quick. They poked too much on my speech. Hopefully it'll be pretty good.
Mr. Speaker and members, Representative Amedee is going to withdraw that set of amendments at this time.
Without objection. Back on the bill, Rep. Bayhant for a question on the bill.
Representative McMakin, isn't it true that some floors in the Capitol are currently being used for storage,
Yes, sir.
like old furniture? I mean, things that doesn't look like needs to be stored in this building?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that every senator has an office in the state capitol?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Rep. Mandy Landry for a question on the bill.
Hey, Rep. There's a lot of things we say on the floor. Have you heard us say just another tool in the toolbox?
Have I heard you say that on
In the floor, have you heard anyone say that?
Not that I can recall, no, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have hearing problems? What about hearing someone say this is a simple bill?
I've heard that.
All right. This is all the bill does.
Heard that.
Point of order.
Yes, ma'am.
What about I have to pick my battles?
Yes, ma'am.
You've heard that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Just making sure.
Rep. Newell for a question on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative McMakin, I'm gonna wait till all these people finish passing in front of me while I'm on this microphone, because they do it every day. Representative McMakin, can you tell me what was the motivation behind this bill?
Yes, ma'am. So actually, I was at an event just looking up laws of the state, looking up revised statutes, and saw this law and couldn't believe that we are the ones that get to dictate who gets to use this building. And so far, being a freshman, I've seen my colleagues meet in that back corner. Even yesterday, I saw my colleagues meeting at some chairs over there. And all of us know the space is tight, and having an opportunity to have some space for our representatives is what I was trying to do with this bill. And that's why I filed the bill. And picking battles, what you want to do. We are the lawmakers. We create the laws. And this is a law that I wanted to go and edit for all of our members here in this House.
And so if I'm listening and if I'm hearing correctly, at no time was the motivation behind this bill to attack any females, was it?
No, ma'am. That was brought up in committee. And I'd like to commend you again, you, Representative Marcel, and Representative Boyd, for your questions in committee on that. Not one single moment of my mindset was for that.
Thank you, and I wanted to make sure we made this statement on the record because, and I'm going to make a statement right now. I was highly offended by the floor note that we received that said that you were going after elected female people. And I knew that that was not what your motivation was, because this is not the first time we've had this conversation. There's been talk about building a building for representatives close by and making space for us in other buildings around the Capitol. Because as I made the comment in committee, we just need to have a place to put our space and to have these conversations. One of the women who I guess someone thought you were attacking made the comment about her having conversations that deal with security and million-dollar decisions. I made the comment that I was going to make this statement to him.
Rep. Boyer, why do you rise?
Mr. Speaker, this is not the place where you make statements. The well is the place where you make statements. If she could go there, it'd be much more appreciated. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
You ready?
Rep. Ghali for a question on the bill.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative McMakin. I always like to, when we start including departments and things like that, have you spoken with the AG's office?
I've spoken with them, yes.
And what did they say about this whole proposition of reapportioning office space?
I believe we all got a floor note and email with their position on it, and I will admit I made a rookie mistake. Anytime you mess with someone else's offices or you talk about an agency, nice to go talk to them about that, but at the same time, I'm a state legislator. I legislate revised statutes, and that's what I did.
Understood. So are you saying they're not in agreement with this? Have they come out and clearly said that?
I would leave it to their words. I don't want to put words in their mouths.
So that they answered in the affirmative that they're okay with it? I haven't gotten a floor note. That's why I'm asking.
The floor note came last week when the bill was supposed to be originally heard.
Can you refresh my memory what that floor note said?
I'd have to go find it for you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we have an amendment prepared. Madam Clerk.
Representative Amade offers up amendment set 4001.
Rep. Amadeo on your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, the amendment set 4001 simply specifies that the two floors for the Attorney General will be the 23rd and the 22nd floors, which are the two floors that the Attorney General's office currently uses. In the note that we got last week by email, it specified that the two floors of space for the Attorney General allow the state's lawyer and her staff a way to easily meet with legislators and fulfill her statutory duties of providing aid and advice, but also to prepare documents and services for the body year-round. So even when we're not here, they're still using those two floors. The Attorney General is charged in statute with attending legislative sessions and giving aid and advice in preparation of legislation. She's also charged with defending us as legislators and the bills that we pass in court. The AG's staff this year have reviewed 1,747 bills to check for constitutional concerns and ensure that the language captures the author's intent. This requires staff to be in multiple committees each day. So the use of those two floors allows them to be here with us, accessible to us, and to work year-round even when we're not here. So I would ask for your favorable passage of this amendment. Thank you.
Any questions on the amendment? Any objections to the adoption of the amendment? Rep. McMakin, on your objection?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, she brought up the email, so let's go through that email. Rep. Zarang, I know what you feel like. You're not even here, but there he is. Yeah. Out of the 34 floors of the building they have, 240,000 square feet of this building, and they have 7 floors and 150,000 square feet. 60% the size of that building compared to this building for their 452 employees they have over there. And we're trying to get 1 floor of space for our members. They talked about RS 49253. Go look that one up. That law was created before the revised statutes were in place. It's a part of the law that in 252, it says the Attorney General shall report to the legislator at the commencement of each session. They don't do that anymore because this law is so old. 253 that they mentioned says they shall be here. Well, we had a labor meeting last Thursday, and we had a question that the Attorney General would have been great if them or someone for their staff was there to answer. And I asked that in committee where they were. They weren't here. They weren't on their floors because I went up there after. Right after that law, 49254, the Attorney General shall keep 2 sets of books or journals. They don't do that anymore. Those bills they're quoting are before the revised statutes were in place. They mentioned in that email the Attorney General's staff has reviewed 1,747 instruments. Okay. Total. We in the Senate have filed 1,882. So they missed 135? Or is that number just not accurate? And their staff will continue to be there. For the second termers and the third termers, I'd ask you this. When we're done and we sine die, are you done? Do you no longer come to this building and work? Are there not joint budget meetings? Are there not oversight committee meetings? Where are you going to meet with your people when you come and do that? You have no space. This bill is we are legislators. We do the laws. We are trying to give us 1 floor of space. So I would ask for you to vote no and oppose this amendment. Thank you.
Rep. Amade, would you like to close on your amendment?
Members, I'm not sure why the attack on the Attorney General's office. They're currently allotted 4 floors. They've already given up 2 because they don't use them. Still having 2 floors here allows them to be here to work closely with us. I don't know what the circumstances were on the day that someone was not in committee that was referred to, but I do know that when we call on the Attorney General's office, they come. They're often here. They often have someone representing the Attorney General's office in committees. So I don't know where the problem is, but I don't know why there was an attempt to relegate that 1 floor be a floor that's beyond reasonable access. I don't know why the attempt early on to remove all floors from the Attorney General's office. I just don't understand the issue here. So I'm pleased that the Attorney General currently has 2 floors, and those floors are in use. One of those floors has space to where if any of us need to have a meeting, we can just call and make use of the room. I don't know anyone who's ever been turned down. If you need a number, I'll get it for you. So I ask that you would vote in favor of this amendment to allow the Attorney General's office to continue making use of the 2 floors that the office currently uses and has used for the entire time I've been here in the legislature. It doesn't add very much space for us. There has been a review of the whole building, and I don't know what happened to that report. Maybe it's time to do a new one, but surely, if we're looking for space, there is space here that we could utilize without bumping an active state entity out of the way. Thank you.
Okay, members, Representative Amade has offered up an amendment, which Representative McMakin has objected to. All those in favor of the amendment vote yea. All those opposed to the amendment vote nay. Madam Clerk, please open machines. McMakin, nay. Members, vote your machines. Members, either voting. Carrier, nay. Members, either voting. Clerk will close the machine. We have 50 yeas and 45 nays, and the amendment is adopted. Back on the bill. Rep. Newell for the floor on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. So as I was saying, I was highly offended by the floor note that we received that said that Representative McMakin's motivation behind this was to go after two elected female members. Not members, but elected people in this state. This is not the first time we've had this bill, this type of bill, or this type of discussion to make sure that the members in this body, the people who make the laws, the people who other folks come to get money for their operations, to get monies in the budget, they come to us, and we do not have a place to go and meet with them. And for the floor note to be sent, as well as the comment to be made in committee that he was simply going after women, was offensive, because we cannot pick and choose when we want to protect women. We should not pick and choose when we want to stand up for women. And to use that female tactic as a way to go sideways on his bill was highly offensive to me. So that is the comment that I started to make, and I'm glad I had a chance to finish making that comment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members.
Rep. McMakin, you have a right to close on the bill.
This was never an attack. It's the wrong word to use. This was for the 105 of us and the 20 members in here that have an office. And for the 85 others, when they try to do something, to have a meeting before, after, during, whatever that might be, you shouldn't have to call upon somebody else in the state capitol if you're a state representative to go have a meeting somewhere. There's 85 of us in here that don't have a space. Maybe one day we will. Committee chairs do. The dean, speaker, speaker pro tem, caucus chair. But there's 85 others that don't. Really vote on this bill now should be 105, what we just did. Shouldn't be against it now. Don't know why you would be. Pretty much everything stays the same. We continue to update this bill. But this vote was for all of us. This bill was for all of us. And not only us this year, but the groups that are going to come in 4 years. And after that, they're going to experience the same exact thing. Having to sit in that corner, having to sit in your chair, having to call on somebody else to have a meeting. State House, House of Representatives. This was for us. I'm glad I wasn't scared of anybody, and I brought this bill. And I'd ask for your final passage if you're not scared either.
Rep. McMakin moves final passage of the bill. Those in favor vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. Madam Clerk, please open machines. Members, vote your machines. Members, vote your machines. Members, vote your machines. Green. Echols is a yea. Members either voting. Members either voting. The clerk will close the machine. We have 62 yeas and 34 nays, and the bill finally passes. Rep. McMakin moves to adopt the title, moves to receive the votes. The bill finally passed. Lay the motion on the table without objection, so ordered. Next bill. Rep. McMakin, can you come see?